Hey everybody, it's Jim Priest with the Friday Encouragement video. I'm wearing my Stronger Than Yesterday hoodie, and I'm here to encourage you on the weekend and the week ahead. Somebody wrote in response to my first Friday video, maybe you could do a Paul Harvey rest of the story sometime. So I'm going to do that today, and then I'm going to follow up that story with one of my own experiences from the 6th grade. So in 1920, there was a scrawny little kid, in fact, his nickname was Skinny, who didn't have any friends. He just went to school every day. He had a paper route. He read a lot of books, but not only did he not have friends, he had a lot of people that picked on him, especially the bullies at school. He did have a scrawny little dog, though, and that dog followed him faithfully everywhere he went. It would follow him to school every day until they got to Station 1 of the firehouse, and that dog would lay down there and sleep as the firemen were working on the trucks, and they would pet it and play with it a little bit. The boy would go on to school, and then when he was done, he would come home and pick up the dog and head on back to his house. Well, one day he was walking to school, and a fireman noticed he had a gash with some blood coming out on his lip, and his eye was blackened. The boy tried to get by, and he was kind of embarrassed, but the fireman kind of grabbed him, put his arm around him, said, "Hey, little Skinny, what happened? You look like you've been in a fight." "Yeah, that bully beat me up again. He's the one that keeps calling me little girl. Little girl. Why are you wearing pants? You should be wearing a dress." And the fireman had compassion on this skinny little 13-year-old kid who had no friends. And he said, "Well, Skinny, you know what I did before I was a fireman? I was a professional boxer, and I was pretty good in my day. I think I could give you some boxing lessons that might help you." And so that day after school, and for several weeks after that, Skinny would get boxing lessons from this fireman. And the next time the bully picked on Skinny, instead of running away, Skinny stood his ground, and he fought that bully to a draw. Now, he didn't win that fight that day, but he won something he'd never had before: respect. All because he stood his ground. And all because a fireman who used to be a boxer had compassion on him and gave him a few boxing lessons. And he also gave him a new nickname. Instead of Skinny, he decided, well, you've got a dog named Little Duke. We'll just call you Big Duke from now on. And Big Duke, whose real name was Marion Michael Morrison, later became known as the Two-Fisted John Wayne. And now you know the rest of the story. So something like that happened to me in the 6th grade. There was a big bully. I mean, he was head and shoulders taller than I was, and he would pick on girls and boys. And I was on the safety patrol in the 6th grade, and one of our jobs was to report unsafe behavior. And so I wrote a report up on this big guy named Nick. He got in trouble with the principal, and he caught me in the hallway one day as I was getting toward the end of my term as a safety patrol. And he stuck his finger in my chest and he said, "When you get off safety patrol, I'm going to beat you up and you're going to die." It was just like something out of a movie. And I was scared of this guy. I didn't know how to fight him. I couldn't even reach his face. That's what I told my dad. I went home, I said, "I don't know what to do about this guy. He's so big." Dad said to me, "Well, can you reach his stomach?" I said, "Well, yeah, it's about eye level." He said, "Well, just keep hitting him in the stomach and eventually he'll bend over. And then when he's bent over, then you can clock him one and really have a good fight and make sure he knows he can't just push you around." So that's what happened. I went up to school that day. Nick was waiting for me. We got in a fight, and all I could do is just keep punching him in the stomach. That's the only thing I could reach. And finally, when he bent over, then I hit him in the nose. Somebody came along, broke us up, took us to the principal's office. And while we were waiting to get bawled out by the principal, Nick leaned over to me and he said, "Well, priest, I didn't know you had it in you." Well, I didn't know if I had it in me either. But I'm not advocating that anybody get in a fist fight this week. I want to make that real clear. My fighting days are over. But sometimes we do have to stand our ground and stand up for not only ourselves, but for others. So I want to encourage you to do that today. And this week, if you see a bully somewhere, if you think someone's taking unfair advantage of somebody else, speak up. Stand up. Let them know that's not right, and you're not going to stand for it. Remember, it's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog. Hope you have a great weekend and be encouraged.